Hey, friends and family, this is Jeremy and Ashley. In case you don't know, we recently sold everything we own and moved our family to Mexico. So, those of you who do know have been asking us why we did that. So, we came up with five um, kind of bullets and explanations of things we wanted to talk about to let you know why we did that. So, in our, if we were to summarize, we would say it comes down to time. How do we get more time? How do we spend time doing the things we want to do? So the very first thing that we wanted to talk about was that we wanted more family time. We felt like in our life in Utah, with our jobs and responsibilities and things we were doing, we weren't really living a life congruent to our supposed values. We both claimed that we valued family time, we valued our roles as parents and as partners, and ultimately we didn't really feel like we were spending a lot of time doing those things. And so we needed to make a change to make our life more congruent with the things that we said that we valued. So we wanted to be able to live here and spend more time together as a family.
And how did moving to Mexico give us more family time, Jer?
Well, I quit my job, so I'm currently on a work sabbatical. I was working a corporate job, 9 hours every day. We catch up on the weekends with laundry and stuff like that. And we just weren't spending quality time together. And you know, by moving here, I quit my job and now I have more time to just be home. And I'm trying to build a new job, kind of around our life instead of building our life around a job. So um, the other thing is we live in a community, a little condo community that has a lot of amenities here. That if we want to go swimming or go play soccer, we don't have to leave our house. We're all just kind of here.
Yeah, I mean, I think you not having to go work 9 hours a day is a big contribution to obviously having more family time. You're home with Liam. We have a 6-year-old son. His name's Liam. And we didn't really have an opportunity to spend a lot of time with him. He went to work. I also work full time. Liam goes to school. So we meet up in the evenings. And now that Jared's not working and it's summer, there's a lot of time to spend together. And I work full time still. So we're able to, have a good life here on one person's salary instead of two. And to Jeremy's point, there's a lot of resources in the community that encourage spending time together. The pool, we have the beach a couple minutes away. We've got a lot of neighbors in similar situations with young kids, young families. So there's always kind of something going around in the community. And so that's been a really great change of pace for us in terms of getting to spend more time together and having the resources we need to do that.
And it's been great because we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner together every day, which is just not something we ever did back in the States. So that's been great. The other reason we chose to come down here was for just kind of childcare and family support. Where we lived, we didn't have a lot of family nearby. We didn't have a lot of people in our community that were in the same situation as us and had the same needs as us. So we were trying to find a kind of a group of people who were in a similar life stage, and also who had the same kind of problems that we have, which are, we have an only child, we don't have a lot of support. And so we've kind of found that community with the expat community with people who move from other countries and also don't have family here. So that was another factor in moving into a more of a community instead of an independent home. The other factor was the rising cost of childcare. We looked at having next summer having both of our kids
We got another one on the way.
in childcare, and it was going to be about $2,500 a month, which is more than our mortgage. And so, one, the cost of that, but two, we just didn't want to send our 6-week-old baby to daycare. That's just not what we wanted to do. So we had to find a way to have our family and have us both work without it coming at the cost of, you know, not raising our children, essentially.
Yeah, I think the balance of work life. Like we both really love having a career and Jared's working on building his next thing, which is great, but ultimately I didn't want the cost of building a career to come at the cost of my family or vice versa. So we had to kind of look at, well, how do we get more support? And if we're not going to hire out childcare, can we hire out other things? Can we get help around the house? Can we get help with meal prepping? And in Mexico, it's a lot easier to hire services and labor. The cost of living is a lot cheaper. So for us to buy back some of our time as a family, we can hire out some of those things. And instead of sending our kids to daycare, we can have someone come in home and like clean the house and we can be the parents to our kids instead of having them in daycare, right? So a lot of that was just trying to get strategic around how we could get the support or buy the support that we didn't have in the States through family or friends. And I think that was solved a lot with the community, living with like-minded people in a similar stage of life who also have young kids and, need help with their children, and also with the ability to outsource and hire help that we didn't have in the States.
Yeah, and help for the things that we don't value,
Yeah.
like folding laundry or washing the dishes, or things that we're like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to hire a nanny. That's what you hire. That's what you do in the U.S. You hire a nanny. We didn't want to hire a nanny. We wanted to hire someone else to do the other things because we wanted to be involved in raising our children. The third reason is that we wanted a change of pace. In the US, it's just hustle, hustle, hustle. Retire when you're 75 if you can, and then, live out your days in a wheelchair. And we just said, we don't want to do that. We want a slower pace of life where we don't have to work as hard, we don't have as much responsibility. And we wanted to shift to a more simple life and with kind of fewer possessions and fewer things to maintain and just kind of live a more slower pace where we can spend more time together and not spend time just like maintaining things.
Yeah, and I think part of that too is some of the other things we value is adventure and spending time outside and being active. And in Utah, it's winter a big chunk of the year. So if you're not big skiers or you're not, out in the backcountry in the snow, I'm not a snow person, I don't like the cold, then you spend a lot of your time inside. And the kids spend a lot of the time inside. They're not old enough to go skiing, you take them sledding, but ultimately part of it too was that change of life that meant we could be outside more. We could go to the pool in February. We could take a hike in November because the weather and the environment permits that. So also part of it was escaping the cold, the winter blues, in exchange for more time outside that would also help facilitate more family time because there's the ability to kind of go out and play together.
Which is actually our fourth bullet, was just we wanted kind of a change of scenery. And we wanted to move somewhere where instead of having, 9 months of cold, dreary weather and 3 months of good weather, we wanted 9 months of great weather and then 3 months of kind of hot weather. So that, we can just go outside and do more things together and spend more time together doing adventure than just sitting inside and being cold and reading books and stuff. So,
and there's so much nature here. Like we've got, the jungle and the ocean and there's snorkeling and there's cenotes and there's just like so many things so close. Obviously in Cancun, we live in Playa. It's a destination for people. People come to vacation here because there are so many amazing things to do and see. And so now it's really fun that so much of that nature is just like in our backyard. We can go on a weekend, so we don't have to take a week off work and travel. It's just very ideal for the kind of life that we want to live in terms of just being able to get outside, move our bodies, have adventures, make memories with the kids, like all that stuff.
Well, even just adventure parks. There's like 15 adventure parks within maybe an hour of our house. So if we want to go do like a formal adventure park experience, like we can do that too, right? So the last bullet we had was we were trying to just be more intentional about our lives, and we wanted to make a mental shift from kind of job first to like life first. And instead of, building a life around our job, which is what I feel like I'd been doing, I wanted to build my job around the life I want to live. And so we wanted to shift our mindset a little bit from a kind of live later in retirement to a live now and do things we enjoy now. And we both love the beach. We both love the Caribbean. And we were like, why don't we just go do the things we love and then build make our job fit into that, instead of doing it kind of the backwards way.
Yeah, so essentially I think that's kind of what we did, but it came at a cost, right? There was a lot, and we just wake up one day and we're like, hey, let's just you should just quit your job, right? There was a lot of preparation that went into that. I run a business, I work in marketing, so for me it was like, okay, I gotta build my business up to a place where we can live off of my salary, and we can afford to let you take a few months off while you kind of shift your own business model, and eventually kind of get into a place where we can start creating or making money in a different way. Like instead of trading time for money, it's like, what is the new business model? How are we going to earn a living that doesn't require us to show up in office for 9 hours every day? And so the internet is an amazing tool to help with that. So we got some plans up our sleeves for that. And so far it's been great. It's been really nice that Jared's home. He manages most of the house stuff now. I'm not really making dinner or going grocery shopping. He's managing the home and Liam's activities, and I'm, upstairs in the office working and providing for the family. Growing a human, yeah. It's a lot of work. But it's been really great because it's allowed us the time to get more intentional about what do we want the next 20 years to look like? How do we want to spend our time? How do we want to earn our dollars? And so it's been a good change, I think, for us that definitely came with a lot of sacrifice. There was a lot of late nights working and side hustling to get to this point, but now that we're here, yeah, it's just we're able to take advantage of some of those buyback opportunities, having help come into the house to help us with some of the meals and the cleaning, which frees up more of our time to spend more time with the family and also spend more time building the business.
And basically, we both like that now we're able to work on our businesses and move our lives forward. And it's not coming at the cost of our son just watching TV all day in
Yeah.
the house. Like, he can go out and play with his friends. We have neighbors that are, we're able to just kind of do both of the things we value, and the things we don't value, we can outsource. And that was again, comes back to time. That was what we were trying to do, was find a way to buy back the time from other people instead of us having to spend our time doing things we didn't want to do.
Yeah, so ultimately, I'd say those are the five biggest reasons why we decided to leave the States and move to Mexico. We were looking for alternative solutions to gain more freedom and have more control over our days and not be tied to a time clock in order to make our family income, but also still be able to prepare for the future, invest in the future, and not have our careers come at the cost of our children's childhood. So this is kind of our solution. We got creative, It's like if we have to move abroad to make it happen, like let's go. We love the adventure anyway.
And we're
So
adventurous people, and we both speak Spanish, so I mean, it kind of worked for us to make this move now. So,
but
yeah.
it came at a cost. We definitely had a lot of preparing and saving, and it took some preparation. But I think most things worth having take some hard work, and so far so good. We've only been here for about 2 months, so there's a lot still. Obviously, we have to learn. Kind of chapter 1 is like, let's get to Mexico. Obviously, chapter 2 is like, we're gonna have a baby in Mexico, so that's gonna be like a whole nother thing. Like, how does the medical system work? How do we find doctors? Like, there's been some of that. So there'll be more lessons, I'm sure, to kind of learn and challenges. But ultimately, I think we both agree that so far it's been a really great move for us. We've really loved having so much more family time, so much more warm weather for me, and just opportunities to make friends and build like community that we just didn't have back home, and just be more intentional about the life that we want instead of settling for the life maybe we
We're given,
yeah
that we inherited,
that we had.
which isn't bad. It's just, hey, let's try something new and see how it goes. So
Yeah.
we'll keep you guys updated on how everything goes, and yeah, that's all we got.
Thanks for tuning in to our little story.